Hi, it's Nick from the Run Testers, and this is our long-term review of the Saucony Endorphin Speed. So we'll start with some of the key stats of the shoe. It's going to set you back £155 in the UK and $160 in the US. It has an 8mm drop from heel to toe, and it weighs in at 240 grams for my UK size 9. That's 8.5 ounces. It's about 10 grams heavier than the Endorphin Pro, which is obviously the racing shoe in the lineup, but still it's a nice lightweight shoe. So on the design of the shoe, we'll start with the upper, which is a pretty standard mesh job. It's nice and breathable, pretty lightweight. Don't have any problems there. Although you notice I do have to crank the laces pretty tight to get a good secure fit around the midfoot, which I didn't have to do on the Endorphin Pro or any of Saucony's other shoes really. In the midsole, you have the same PWRRUN-based PWRRUN PB foam that is in the Endorphin Pro. It's it's a lightweight, bouncy foam, similar to other PB foams you'll find from other brands. But what you also have is a nylon plate rather than the carbon plate. That makes it less stiffer, less harsh than a full carbon plate. The idea being that you'll use this for more training runs, but you're still getting that kind of extra propulsion that you would from really any kind of plate. It's also Saucony Speed roll technology here, which is designed to kind of roll you through your kind of foot strike very smoothly and efficiently. It's something that's been a real feature of the Endorphin range, and it's very well executed in my opinion. On the outsole of the shoe, you've got a fairly minimal amount of rubber. It's actually pretty similar to the Pro here, but it's got kind of all the key areas around the heel and the forefoot. Haven't noticed any huge wear and tear. We'll talk a bit more about durability later. And it grips reasonably well. It has some slight problems and kind of slightly slick days, but generally it's a pretty good outsole. There's some exposed foam there, which I worried about getting gouged out, but actually that hasn't really happened for me over the kind of 500k I've run in the shoe so far. So in terms of fit, I have gone true to size in the shoe, and it's fit comfortably for me. Like I say, there is slightly, you have to really pull tight around the midfoot if you've got reasonably narrow feet. Like I say, I haven't had to do that on other Saucony shoes, but yeah, it's still true to size in terms of the fit around the toe box for me, and it's a comfortable shoe that I've done a lot of long runs in, and I'm happy that I stayed true to size. So in a word, the running performance of the shoe is outstanding. I've put more miles on this shoe than any other kind of shoe I've run in this year, and pretty much enjoyed every single one of them. I think it's the most versatile shoe I've come across this year in terms of the range of paces it feels good at. Done a lot of easy runs in this shoe, a lot of long easy runs, kind of 15 towards 20 miles in them. Never had kind of any pain, any harshness, even when running quite slow. And then when you do up the pace, it really is there for you. It's responsive, it's quick. You do get a little bit from the nylon plate here. Done a lot of speed sessions in the shoe, and kind of this weekend I kind of capped off my testing with a 5k club race on a kind of a hilly circuit. And yeah, it really didn't let me down. Now I came in, it was about 5.2k, around 1640. Really didn't feel like I was being inhibited by not having a carbon racer on my foot over 5k. It's not heavy, it's quick. And then to kind of show off the kind of versatility of the shoe after that race, I went and did an hour easy in it. And it felt just as good for that. I don't think there's really any other shoe I could say that about right now. It's just incredibly versatile. PWRRUN PB foam is quite soft. It's more soft and cushioned than you get on the Pro because you have got the nylon plate instead of the carbon. But it does kind of firm up as you increase the pace. It becomes more responsive, a little firmer. It's not like soft and springy like Nike's PB foam. It's really more about that speed roll tech, kind of moving you through your stride. It's a kind of very relaxed, effortless running in the shoe, I feel like. And obviously the foam and the plate combine to produce that effect along with that speed roll technology. So where the shoe really excels is kind of those either longish tempo runs or kind of long intervals, slightly longer than just your all-out top-end speed stuff. It's really comfortable. Like I kind of do a steady 10k every week, just cruising around in this, holding what is still quite a quick pace. Just feels effortless and comfortable. It's really where it shines. But that said, it is still good for those top end stuff. I've done a lot of track sessions in the shoe. I've run a sub 5-minute mile at the end of a track session in this shoe. I've done that 5k recently. Really, there's nothing I would be afraid to use it for. It's never let me down on a speed session. I've never kind of finished a train session and gone, oh god, I wish I had a carbon shoe on. Actually, the speed's just there. It's pretty much just as good, almost. I will say you do lose a little bit compared to a full-fledged carbon racer, but not that much. It's it's the kind of thing, if you have a few shoes in rotation, you're going to still want the pure racer in there. But if you only have one shoe, you really wouldn't worry about going to races in this thinking you're losing loads compared to a carbon plate shoe. Also, the big kind of stack of cushioning there that you get with this PWRRUN foam really does protect the leg. So I really think those kind of long sessions in particular, you do feel fresh and strong at the end. Like even doing mile reps, at kind of the 5th mile rep, I just pushed harder because I felt like I've been breezing through the previous 4 just in this shoe on the track. And that's really where it shines. I think that'd be very good at longer races in particular for that reason. The same way I feel about the Endorphin Pro is kind of that. The way it protects your legs was also kind of helping your efficiency a little bit on the run, really just make it perfect for those longer sessions. The only kind of worry I had with it a couple of times is kind of misty days, you get that kind of like slick of maybe like moisture on the pavement where it's not actually raining, but it's a bit misty. Sometimes, you could feel the grip slipping a little bit on the run, but it never really hindered me in anything. And then this week I did a session of 400s and it was absolutely pouring down. I was doing it on the pavement because the track was shut. And it was fine, I had no grip problems. And the 5K this weekend was done on a kind of tarmac loop that had like big puddles I was splashing through, and again, no grip problems. So actually, over the course of the kind of 500k run the shoe, that kind of worry is dissipated for me. I don't think I would really worry about the grip too much, apart from maybe on those slightly misty, slick mornings. So we don't often get to talk about durability on the channel because we're obviously testing new shoes all the time, but obviously this made my favourite new shoe of the year. Wanted to rack up a lot of miles and see how it coped, and I'm really impressed. Like, certainly I don't feel like I've lost any performance in the midsole over this kind of first 500k, nearly 300 miles. Like I said, I was racing 5k at the weekend, felt like I was getting just as much kind of support and propulsion from the foam and the plate combined. I don't feel like I've had any niggles devising in the shoe, no kind of harshness at all. And the outsole has worn a lot better than I thought it was going to. So I'm predominantly a heel striker, but you can really see there's nothing, taken off at the back there really at all, nor at the front. That foam is that rubber they've used to protect the foam, even though it's a very thin layer, is obviously quite hard wearing, and I'm just really impressed by how it's worn. I was worried about this exposed foam. I've used this shoe on kind of canal tow paths and also kind of light forest trails where there are a bit of stones and gravels about, and I thought this might get gouged out. That hasn't happened. I haven't used it that much on those trails. I still wouldn't advise taking it onto the trails regularly, but generally I'm really impressed with how the outsole has held up, and I certainly don't feel like I've lost any performance in the midsole. I'm not someone who tends to go through uppers at all. I don't tend to get rubbing or create holes, and that hasn't happened with me on this shoe. But like I say, it doesn't tend to happen to me anyway, but I've got no concerns kind of the durability of the upper either. I'd expect to at least get another kind of 200k out of these, bringing me up nearly 400, 500 miles. Yeah, I'm impressed with the durability as well, for which is great for an all-rounder shoe that you want to use for lots and lots of running. So should you buy the shoe? I think this is the best new shoe of 2020. It's certainly the most versatile new shoe of 2020. Obviously, a load of fantastic carbon plate racing shoes have come out this year, and if you're a runner who's going to have 2 or 3 shoes in their rotation, I'd buy a carbon plate racer for race day, but I would still probably buy the Speed. This has been my kind of do-it-all training shoe, and the odd race here and there as well. If you have 3 shoes, you could still put an even more comfortable easy day shoe in there as well. Just because this is slightly less comfortable than something like a Brooks Glycerin or even like a Nike Pegasus. But yeah, like I said, I've enjoyed running easy in this shoe, and I've enjoyed racing in the shoe, and you certainly can do it all in this shoe. There have been a few other fast training shoes released this year, and this is, I think, definitely the best of them. The Nike Tempo Next Percent is a very fast shoe. It's heavier than this though. It's got quite a weird ride. There's a lot going on in the sole. I didn't enjoy running easy in that shoe at all. I would prefer the Endorphin Speed. Maybe absolute top end speed. The Tempo Next Percent is a little bit more impressive, but it's also got a stack that's too high for road racing technically. I think the Speed does outdo that shoe, and it's cheaper as well. I do really love the New Balance Fuel Cell TC. My only concern with that is just a big stack of foam. I think if you're using it for loads and loads of training runs, that soft foam, I found that I pronated slightly in it. Didn't have any concerns with this. It's a much more stable, natural feel to the ride in the Endorphin Speed, so I prefer to use this for racking up a lot of training. And the Brooks Hyperion Tempo is another fantastic training shoe. It's quite similar to this. I think I maybe just get a little bit more pop, a bit more kick, a bit more speed out of the Endorphin Speed than the Hyperion Tempo. So although that is a very good shoe, I think I still prefer this all round of kind of the new high-end fast training shoes. And like I say, if you just want one shoe to do it all, this will serve you very well in races. I've used the Endorphin Pro a lot this year as well. There is a little bit of a performance gain, which could all be in my head, let's be honest. Having done a quick 5k in this at the weekend, but yeah, I do think you get a little bit more from carbon shoes, and I would certainly buy this just to rack up all your fast training in, maybe your easy training too, maybe the odd race. It's just a fantastic do-it-all shoe. It's really, to me, the kind of successor in a way to the Nike Pegasus Turbo range, which might be coming to an end now they've got the Zoom Tempo. That was a fantastic do-it-all shoe that was comfortable but still quick. I think this is quicker still, maybe slightly less comfortable, but it's certainly in that mold, the kind of shoe that if you're going on holiday and you only want to take one running shoe to do all your runs in while you're there, if you do run on holiday like me, then this is the shoe I'd take, like the Pegasus Turbo was the shoe I would take before it. Yeah, all round a superb shoe, great value, durability looks good, use it for everything. Yeah, best shoe of the year in my opinion. That's it. That's our review of the Saucony Endorphin Speed. I hope you enjoyed it. Look out for the shoe. It's obviously sometimes hard to get, but there's some amazing new colorways coming. Let us know if you've used it, if you like it. If you don't like it, what do you prefer this year? We'll see you in the comments. And then, yeah, remember to like and subscribe so you get notified when we release new videos. Ring that little bell. That will help with that. And then we'll see you next time. Bye.